If you're brave enough to pursue psychology and go on and do your honours year, there is one thing that nobody can take away from you. And that one thing is... Hey, my name is Kathleen. I work as a registered psychologist and I am currently doing my master's in clinical psychology. Welcome to my vlog. The purpose of these vlogs, in a nutshell, is to show you what studying psychology is like at a postgrad level. I want to give you that bottom-up student experience. So I'm just going to take you through this week, day by day, and show you what's on the agenda. These are a bunch of therapy books that I wish I had more time to read during my master's course. There's a lot of information that you can get out of books, so if you're looking to become a therapist, a really nice way to start is by just picking up therapy textbooks and starting to read them. I wish I could do more reading in my master's. I really wish I did more reading in my undergrad. I'll try and leave some ideas down below in the description of this video. For me right now, it's a Monday morning. I am currently in my second semester of my first year. I'm doing my second placement within my university clinic, and I have also started doing the research for my thesis. So today I have a meeting with my research supervisor. I spoke a bit about this in the previous vlog. In terms of doing a master's research project, this is the hierarchy. It goes PhD Psych students at the top. Their research is the most important, closely followed by psychology honours students. Then way down at the bottom is psychology master's students. The master's in clinical psychology places a lot less emphasis on research and more emphasis on developing your practical skills as a professional. When I was going into the program, I was not aware of this. It's something that's made me think a lot in hindsight. If I had my time over, I might have planned things out a little bit differently. There's been a few bull curves that have come up for me on this journey. One being that I love research and I didn't realize I enjoyed it as much as I do. I think I've kind of always put it in the it's too hard camp. But I guess growing as a person and developing my skills as a psychologist has brought back a lot of kind of enthusiasm to get started on my research project. And my topic that I'm doing is really interesting. I'm really enjoying it. So I think this is something to seriously consider with your psychology journey. A master's in clinical psych will not be research heavy if this is not an area that you're interested in. And if it is an area that you're interested in, then it gives you more things to think about if you want to do a PhD down the track. That meeting went really well. I rocked up to it in true work from home therapist style, wearing professional top, pajama trousers. Yeah, it was good. I'm really enjoying working with my supervisor. In this meeting, I shared with her a rough PowerPoint of all my ideas for my introduction and the central argument of my thesis and what I'm hoping to discover with my research, kind of covering the gap in the literature. I also shared some pictures from studies that I'm looking at to help explain the gap and kind of why my study is important. I'm not going to go into any detail about the research that I'm doing on this space. That might change down the track, but not right now. Anyway, that's all done, out of the way. It's like, I think it's about 12:30. So I've got an hour to have a little bit of lunch and then I'm heading off to do my volunteering for the dementia program that I'm part of. Just come back from my external volunteering placement and I had a chance while I was there to briefly talk with the coordinator who runs the volunteering projects at the aged care facility. Anyway, basically the gist of it is I spoke to her about extending my volunteering and staying with the aged care facility and doing more work in this space. I'm finding this population really interesting to work with. I'm really enjoying this. It's caught me off guard a bit. Like there's been lots of surprises in this master's. It's been such an amazing opportunity to broaden and diversify my skills and my interests and get a taste of lots of different things. So yeah, I'd really like to keep doing something in this space, not necessarily as a psychologist, but just to gain more exposure to working with this group of people. All right, that is me done for today. I'm closing my laptop I've just finished a day of doing telehealth therapy, working from home. Today I did 5 sessions, so I'm well and truly ready to just kind of disconnect from work and recharge, re-energize. I do still have a little bit more work to do, but I'm going to do that later. So this is kind of like a bit of an evening of self-care and getting things done for uni and stuff like that. There are 2 things pretty much that I do to cope after a really big day of therapy. One is to like completely withdraw and just do something really mind-numbing for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. And the other one is to just get into my body and like focus on movement. So I'm gonna head down to the gym now and do a quick workout. I have just gotten back and now I'm going to cook dinner, and yeah, it was a good workout sesh. 1 big thumbs up. So in an ideal world, after a big day of therapy, I would detach from my work and do my exercise routine and have my dinner and then do some form of self-care, like going out and seeing friends or doing a class or doing an activity or something like that. I do not live in that world at the moment. I live in a world where I am juggling quite a lot of different things and it's overwhelming a lot of the time, and you just don't get to do your ideal self-care routine. I am doing micro bits of self-care wherever I can, and I'm constantly thinking about all the things I have to do a lot of the time. And I'm also really enjoying everything I'm doing, don't get me wrong, like it's a fun journey, it's just a lot to juggle. So I want to be kind of realistic about that, because I think as a master's student and as an early year psychologist, it's really hard to find the balance in your rhythm with self-care when there are so many things that you're learning and juggling. So with that in mind, tonight I am gonna open up my work laptop again and get a couple of reports done that I would like to finish, and then it's gonna be about hopefully doing some meal prep because my kitchen is a mess and I want to just try to get my lunch sorted for the next few days, because that would really help me out knowing that that's kind of all ready. So that's what life is like as a master's student on a very realistic level. Something else that I want to quickly chat about too is my Psych student chat, which I recently launched. It's the opportunity to have a chat with me if there's things that you want to talk about relating to psychology. If you're a Psych student and you need a bit of help with your Psych journey, this is something that I've been trialing out. And it's been really wonderful to connect with people. I have decided to make the calls 45 minutes instead of 30 minutes because I think 30 minutes is just too short, and I want to make sure people get as much as they can out of it. Definitely check out the details below. I would be really happy to have a chat with you. Wednesday today, just arrived at uni after a pretty slow but productive morning. I think I kind of needed it, so I was just doing like things I needed to do around the house and getting myself ready for the day, doing a little bit of exercise, that kind of thing. So yeah, now I'm here and I have a backlog of admin that I need to complete. It's mainly related to clients, like doing session prep and doing up my notes and things like that. So I'm really just hoping I can get a lot done today. The morning's gone pretty well. I haven't got as much as I would have liked to have gotten done, but I've made some significant headway. I've written up a couple of letters and done a couple of reports, and that's what my afternoon is looking like as well. And that's me finished up for the day. Yay! In the afternoon I worked on a really big report, and I also did some scoring for a cognitive assessment, and now I'm gonna go home. If you're brave enough to pursue psychology and go on and do your honours year, there is one thing that nobody can take away from you. And that one thing is grit. It only really dawned on me how cool grit is until I came out of that year and I was like, nothing else for the rest of my life will be as hard as this. Your honours year is so intense and so stressful and is filled with so much pressure, and it's kind of like you've been in this all-consuming psychology bubble for so long, and you've gone and you've done the year and you've demonstrated grit. That right there is your superpower. Google defines grit as courage and resolve, or strength of character. However, I think a much more useful definition is from Angela Duckworth, In her book Grit, she defines it as sticking with things for a very long time until you master them. Psychology produces some of the most grittiest people I know. And this really is such an incredible gift because it doesn't matter how smart you are, it doesn't matter how talented you are. Grit is about persevering and pushing through, and you keep on going, even when others around you stop. You keep on going and you keep pushing through until you get to the finish line. And it's a relatable and hopeful message because for a lot of people, the journey towards becoming a psychologist isn't smooth sailing. So I guess if someone was to ask me, is it actually worth studying psychology? Like, is it worth sticking it out? I wouldn't be able to really answer that. But what I could say is that if you do, it's going to give you this superpower. You really do feel like you can do anything on the other side. At least that's been my experience, and that's what I've really taken from the difficult parts of the journey. Just arrived at the clinic. It's 9 o'clock. I'm a little bit later than what I would like to be on a clinic day. I normally try and get in early, but today's just been one of those days. It's near the end of the evening, so this is going to be a quick update from me about today. At the clinic, it was very admin focused. It was really busy, it always is. And I also had a great session with my supervisor. Something that I really like that she does in our supervision sessions is she gets us to roleplay stuff. So she'll show me how she does techniques and I'll feedback how I'm doing stuff, and she'll just give her take on it and help me work out how I can improve. So it's really useful. Something else that I wanted to quickly share is just a general update with how placement 2 has been going at the clinic. So basically it's very similar to placement 1 in that we're still doing our therapy with people one-on-one and also group therapy programs. So stuff like this is happening. But the other things that we're doing are cognitive testing. It's a great opportunity to start understanding different tests that you can use, like intelligence tests like the WISC and the WACE, or achievement-based tests like the WIAT. And if this all sounds like gobbledygook, if you're not familiar with any of this, that's okay. Like, it's not something you have to know right now if you're in your undergrad of psychology. But yeah, just basically like going a little bit deeper into cognitive testing. And as always in this master's program, I'm just continuously surprised because I keep finding things that I get really interested in and I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I'd find this so interesting. But yeah, cognitive testing is something that I'm finding quite interesting, and it goes really well with what I'm doing at my day job at the moment because I'm receiving the training in ADHD and I'm starting to do assessments at my workplace. So yeah, it's just an area that I happen to be kind of doing a lot of stuff with at the moment in the cognitive space, so I'm really enjoying that. I'm gonna leave it there. Tomorrow is gonna be a really interesting day, so I can't wait to tell you what happens and how it all goes when I finish tomorrow. Okay, bye. Yeah, I guess like this happens every time I do these vlogs. It gets to the end of the week and I have every intention of sharing a bit about my Friday and what I'm learning and the master's program, and then yeah, that day is the last day of the week. It's a clinic day and I come out of it usually pretty exhausted, so I don't really have that much to say when I get home. Saturday now, and basically I just want to share a couple of really interesting things that came up yesterday. We had another clinic consult where basically we all come together as a group and a few psychologists with a lot of experience talk about a topic. And this week's topic was kind of like an elephant in the room: AI in psychology and how psychologists are using AI in therapy and what that looks like, what that could look like, and also the dangers of using it and the benefits, and yeah, just a lot of interesting discussion around that. It's something that I think about in the back of my mind a lot. It's something I read about. It's something that it kind of gets to me because I'm just intrigued to see how things are going to play out on the AI front in this discipline. So I'm thinking of making a video specifically about that because it's something I'm really interested in. So that was the first interesting thing. But the second interesting thing was that we had some other psychologists come along and do a presentation about placement 3 and 4 for next year. They were talking about a program that they run. They were kind of advertising it to us as a group. And I have been thinking a lot about next year and what I want it to look like, what I'd really like to try and get out of it as a young psychologist still finding my feet and trying to figure out what I want to specialize in and what I want to do with my career long term. This has been like another big thing that's been on my mind pretty much like all of this year and quite a bit of last year as well. What's so tricky in this discipline is it's so broad. But the other tricky thing too is that it's hard for you to know what kind of opportunities are out there until you start to dip your toes in and you start to talk to people and you start to get more exposure to things and you start to learn about other things psychologists can do and how they can show up and work in the community. It's just been a lot to wrap my head around, and I'm kind of at that point where I want to start thinking about different areas I want to go deeper into and specialize in a bit more. I wish I could kind of give you some words of wisdom because I'm still figuring it out. I think it's a process that you actively have to grapple with. And the other thing I would say too is any kind of exposure really helps you figure this stuff out. Because you can nut it over in your head, but it's not until you actually do the work with different client groups or different populations of people, or try some of the skills out. And that doesn't have to be as a psychologist. That's when you start to get a bit of a sense of what direction you'd like to take your career. And there's more I could say about that too as well, in terms of like niching down and broadening and how far to niche down, how early on to go about it. I'm gonna shorten that little spiel by saying basically I think the psychs that do really well for themselves, and this is just an opinion, are the ones that at some point in their career, and it doesn't have to be straight off the bat, but at some point they take a stand and they go, these are the specific things that I really want to work on and create a name for myself as being an expert in. And that's just my 2 cents, and I'm open to being wrong about that, but that's something I think I've observed. So I'm going to leave the vlog there. I hope that you found it interesting watching what a typical week looks like as a master's psychology student / psychologist. And if you're on the journey right now studying psychology, especially at this time of the year, for people about to submit their honours thesis or people who are doing the applications for their masters right now, I wish you all the best. I really do. That is a huge milestone. Don't forget that. Alright, I'll talk to you guys in another vlog soon. Okay, bye!